So I ate the chicken, and so I'm sitting there in line, and I deliberately ate the chicken in line. It was so disrespectful on purpose. And then I walked out the door. I didn't pay for it. I walked out the door deliberately. I got confronted immediately by the owner. He's like, yo, he confronted me immediately. He's like, yo, you serious? You didn't pay? I was like, how are you gonna? And I explained to him. I was like, hey, I apologize for eating the chicken. I was like, I did eat your chicken, but I am trying to find a job. So I'm trying to fill out is there an application I can fill? Can I clean your bathroom for the chicken I didn't pay for? I did, and so I cleaned the dude's bathroom, and then afterwards I was like, he's like, yo man, you don't need to. He's like, you don't need to fill out all this paperwork to have a job. So basically, the dude threw me in a blood gang, and was like, yo, get it how you live, man. He's like, so that's how I know Kevin Gates. Because Kevin Gates at the time was a big blood. He's sitting there in the corner, and he had a knife, and we're running downtown Houston, and we make our way to the bus. Like I'm trying to dip and dodge this cat because I'm not trying to be in the situation. So I'm like, all right, and so I make it on the bus, and we're on this bus going inward. We're going inward in the city. It's a harder part of the city than go. It's like down. The university was right there, and we're going in towards this place called Holly Hall. The Dr. Pepper plant was right there, and yeah. So I'm trying to dip and dodge this dude, and I wasn't. Basically, I'm at the point in my life I'm kind of like. Because the dude had a knife and he's sticking people up with a knife. So I'm like, all right, I'm about to be the next cat stuck up with a knife. And so the bus stopped, and I got off the bus, and I went into this. It was a Holly Hall hood, and they had an auto mechanic place there. So I went in there. I was like knocked on the door. I was like, actually filled out the application. I was like, hey, I asked him for. I was like, hey, I'm in trouble. I kind of stole this chicken from this place over here, and this guy is like that. I was like, I'm not trying to die. I was like, can I have an application to fill out my paperwork? And he's like, okay. So I filled out all my fucking application papers, and then I dipped, and I made it back to the bus, and I had more of a disgusting fathom the way I had to kind of ditched him. I kind of ditched him in that South Yonkers fathom. So I went to the Texas University and filled out an application there, and kind of like dibbled and dabbled on the computer. And then I went to the park where they have the cabanas, and then they have that big hill with the windbreaker cats. One side blood, one side's crip. And then they have that pond. I was throwing bird seeds in the pond, and I was talking to people, and I was walking around. They had the train tracks. I was walking around the train tracks, and you know when you kind of see like a stencil of the cat, and you kind of like it's like oh, kind of keep plugging them in. Like I was like oh yes, today's a wonderful day at the park. And I'm sitting there walking around the thing, and he has like a little son there, and his son's like running around. The next thing you know, you hear this loud crack. It's like and I got hit in the chest, dog. I was froze. I was like, dog, did I just get shot? And it hit me, and it was like, everything turned white. And there's a bunch of pigeons that flipped over, and I got kind of like an adrenaline rush. I was like, I sat there, and I ran. I was like, all right, I gotta go. So I ran, and I made it to the bus. And that's when I was on the bus, I was going back. I was in the right direction to go. Yeah, I was in the right direction to go westward to where I was staying. And that's where I fell asleep on the bus. My eyes got really, really heavy. It was like someone put quarters on my face, and like there's you know the cartoon South Park, and they have the little devil monsters. Well, those were in my peripheral vision. Those were like the black dots in my peripheral vision, and I fell asleep. I was able to make my way back, and yo, homies, I was able to make it back okay, and I was able to make it into my place okay, the place I was staying. But it's a true story. I got hit in the chest right here. It actually sinks down, it goes down, and it goes through the stool, but in reality it sinks up. It goes up into my head and it sinks behind my eye. So it's like it sits there right behind my left eye. It's a true story. Yo, it's mad beef, dog. Yo, a lot of cats can't elaborate how they've been shot in the chest, but I've been shot and I can elaborate how I was shot. So that's mad beef. That's mad beef. If you ever wanted to dibble dabble on some beef, we can cook it on the grill. It ain't nothing but some sirloin, baby. Yo, in the studio, man, at first it was like cats in the studio like 50 Cent or Wheezy, cats like Sugar Ray, and it would be real difficult to lay a track down, feel me? Make an album with a cat in the studio. And so if I go to a promotion guy, I'd be like, yeah, I'm from Crenshaw, man, and dude's in the mix, and then hustle around the dude for how the dude's fame. It'd be like with the dude's fame, with a claim to cater. I was at lunch today, and I was eating a sandwich, and I even went back to my house and just beat my shit. And I beat my shit so hard I went back for dinner and had double lunch, and you feel me? And if the dude's big like 50 Cent in the studio, dog, I'm like, nah, man, I'm gonna lay some bars down. I don't give a fuck about lunch. I don't give a fuck. Look, if you don't get me and my personality, I'm a comedian. A comedian like Eddie Murphy, a comedian like Colin Farrell. I admire Eddie for his personality, and if in the studio I don't give a fuck. I'll lay it down. I'll have a maybe might be a different chapter, but as long as your heart and soul and you're passionate about your talent, or you're just passionate in heart and soul, you don't have to be talented. You don't have to. You're in the mix. You don't even have. Myself, I enjoy the friendship. If homies have trouble being on the radio, I'd rather have that friendship than be on the radio. But if I'm on the radio or have a set, it's gonna be dog. I'm gonna claim. Jokes are jokes. Comical with it. Comical with the interview. Jokes are jokes. Pardon my personality. Trying to take on beef, dog. I'm on this interview. Ain't know nothing about nothing, dog. You might, maybe someday might be able to check out my mixtape. So if I had a mixtape, I don't even know nothing. It's like I'm like, yo, it won't be tomorrow or nothing, but soon I'm gonna be like 35, and maybe when I'm 35, I'll make a serious career about laying some mixtapes down, and maybe you can check out mixtape, dog. Take on, cause I'm a gangster. I'm a thug, nasty gangster thug, heard?